Let's talk about float fishing live baits for bass. Now, it's an exceptional method when the conditions are right, and you can fish live baits, believe it or not, down to sort of 60-70 feet over reefs and wrecks. It's very, very productive, but the first thing you're going to need is a big float, a big cigar float like this. You need it for a couple of reasons. A, to hold 2 ounces of lead, maybe 3 ounces of lead to get your bait down there, and B, obviously to hold the weight of the fish. I mean, I think nothing of fishing a pound, 4 ounce, pound and a half mackerel on a float rig like this. Very, very simple to set up. I've got one set up down here. This one's got a treble hook on it, which is my preferred method when I'm fishing live mackerel. It's simply just pass one of the points through the top of the nose. Obviously the thing with this is if you catch a bass on it, 9 times out of 10 they don't get hooked down in the throat. They're usually lip hooked, so you can release them, but there is a very, very good possibility that the bass will swallow this and you have to kill the bass. Now, I only ever use this method when I'm fishing for the table, which I do quite a lot, but like I say, you can release bass if they're hooked in the lip. So the rig itself, very, very simple. You've got your main line here. You don't want to be using a shock leader with this rig because you have to tie a stop knot with a bead on it, and if you fish with a shock leader, you're only going to be able to fish as long as your shock leader is. So you basically slide on a bead, a drilled bullet, another bead, your float, and another bead in that order onto your line. Tie on a swivel to trap it all in place, so it basically looks like that. It's very, very simple to set up. All these beads do is just help protect your knots. Then to the swivel, I like to fish about 2 feet. You don't really need any longer than that. 2 foot of, that's 14 pound fluorocarbon, nice and thin, nice and light, and it's still quite stiff. And then put your desired hook on the end. Like I say, that's a treble hook. If I wasn't going to fish with a treble hook, I'd use something like a 3/0 or a 4/0 J hook. Now here's the good part. What you need to do is once you've put your bait on, your live bait, you chuck it over the side and start letting it down. Now you need to measure out how deep you want to fish. So if you're drifting at say 1.5 knots over a reef in 20 foot of water, you want to measure out roughly 20 feet before you tie your stop knot. And that basically is where the bead butts up against, it can't go any further, and all the way down there is where your bait is. If you set yourself to about the same depth as where you're fishing, you're not going to get snagged up, because the angle of the drift, you're moving at 1.5 knots, your line's going to be sort of at this angle, so effectively you'll be fishing at about 18 feet, something like that. Like I say, it's a very, very productive method for fishing live baits. Like I say, you don't have to use mackerel, you can use pretty much any fish you like, as long as it's the right sort of size and it's fairly hardy. Sandeel is obviously a very, very good bait, and I'm just going to cut to some live action to show you how to rig up with a sandeel. Okay, so all of our sandeels are dead because we've been out for a while, but these bass are just nailing dead sandeels. I'm just going to show you quickly how I hook them on. There's the sandeel. I'll do it exactly the same way as I do when they're live. Through the mouth, like that, pull the hook through, in through the belly, tighten the line up, and there you go. That's it, that's how I do it. What that does is when the sandeel's are live especially, it swims obviously that way, gives you a nice natural bait presentation, and the bass 9 times out of 10 go for the head, so that hook's straight in its mouth. Lower your rod tip, lift into it, fish on. So this is how I bait up a live bait. Imagine if this is a live mackerel, and I'm using a treble hook. It's really simple. You just go, nick it through the nose, pull that in like that, and there you go. And that presentation is absolutely perfect. Fish can swim freely, gills are not impaired, and the bass 9 times out of 10 will come up, grab it head first, and you've got a couple of hooks there, ready to do the business. So that's how I bait up with a live bait. It can be live pouting, it can be live whiting, anything. That's how you do it with a treble hook. Slightly different with a single hook. This is a 5/0. There's a number of different ways you can do it. You can go in between the eye sockets like this. So that's quite a good presentation. you can, like I say, if this is a live mackerel, you want to have the mouth open, like so it can still breathe, so to speak. Just go in through the top of the mouth and out the top of the head like that. That's a really good presentation as well with a single hook. And again, you can use that on any live bait. Under a float, that's absolutely deadly. Now, one of my favourite baits for fishing off the shore is crab and squid. It's also very good in shallow water when you're on a boat. It's a great bait for uptiding because it's really streamlined and you can cast it for miles. This is how to prepare it. Right, I've got some small frozen peeler here. I couldn't get any fresh. If these were fresh peeler and they were quite large, what I would do is, in between the eyes there, once I'd peeled it like this, I'd cut about 2/3 of the way through and then just open it out this way, which will give you a long streamlined bait. But because these are, like I say, small frozen peelers, to prepare this crab and squid wrap, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to thread these onto a pennel rig first, literally just 3 passes or 2 passes of the hook, just weave them on, just like that. Okay, pull that over the eye, that hook's there. I've just literally wrapped the snood line round there 3 times, like that. Pass that through that bit of bait there. And as you can see, it's all slipping and sliding around all over the place. And what we want to do is just secure that in place with a little bit of bait elastic. You don't need to put loads on, just enough to just try and stop them from sliding all over the place. Helps if you go around the bend of that top hook as well, just to secure them. Right, okay, that'll do for now. So I've got the crab on my pennel rig, straighten that out. That'll do for starters. Now then, with the squid, it's pretty simple. Pull those fins off there, get rid of them, you don't want them. Just peel the skin off like that. Now you can feel and you can see the little ridge there on the top of the squid. What you want to do is cut down there with a knife. Don't go all the way to the tip though. Just try and leave a little bit of the tip out like that. Open that up and you'll find this cartilaginous sort of backbone sitting in there. Get rid of that because that's going to mask your hook points. Okay, all these guts and stuff, you can leave them in there. Then what you want to do is lay that crab bait on top of the squid. Push the point of your hook through the end of the squid like that. That's why we didn't cut all the way through. And then literally just, it's almost like making a fajita. You just need to roll it up like that. Okay, your other hook's in here, your bottom hook. Stick that through the top of the squid, through the head. Roll it all over. Now this is a tricky bit. You need your bait elastic again. If I can find the end, there it is. Right, and just start a little bit haphazardly just to get it all staying in one place to start with. There we go, a couple of turns around the top inside the bend of the hook, that helps secure it. Make sure that head's on nice and tight at the bottom there. Keep wrapping away. And there you go. There you have it. Get rid of them bits. That's nice and tight on there. Okay, you've got one hook nicely protruding at the tail end. You've got the other hook protruding out of the head. Absolutely brilliant bait. That's great for casting on a boat when you're uptiding. It's also really good. Casts really well from the shore. Clip it down behind like a 6 or 7 ounce lead. That'll fly out, no problem. Give that one a go.